So my name is Lance Micek. We're here at the Fonda Fair today. There's going to be two classes with NYTPA. That's who we pull with. And the two classes are Super Farm and Super Stock. Difference is Super Farm is single turbo on diesel. It's probably a 1500 horsepower tractor. And then we have the Super Stock class, which is the class that we're in. Our particular tractor runs on alcohol. There's actually two fuel types available in our class, which is diesel and alcohol. These tractors range anywhere from 2,500 to 4,500 horsepower in this particular class. This tractor here actually is a 2-turbo alcohol iron head. Should be in the 3,000 horse mark. But just so you get an idea of the horsepower of the tractors. So the tractors are weighing in at around 8,000 pounds in the alcohol fuel type, and then the diesels weigh 8,500. The sled is actually weighing in at around 50,000 pounds, and when the weight transfer box comes up on the sled, it actually, the sled simulates 250,000 pounds. So that tells you the tug of war going on between the sled and the tractor and the kind of horsepower that these tractors are making. No, it's quite an adrenaline rush. Done some wild things in my life, been skydiving, and certainly it's much harder to set in the cage of this machine than it is to get out of an airplane 2 miles in the sky. So awesome adrenaline rush. Certainly a hobby, not a money maker by any means of the imagination, but it's just a good time, and it's an opportunity for me and my wife and our family to get out and have a good time. All right, so what you're looking at here, this is as I said earlier, a twin turbo setup, and it's 2 pressure stages. The bottom turbocharger here is actually the high pressure turbo. As you can see, the exhaust manifold goes in and drives that turbo, and then comes out and goes into the big charger. And this is the low pressure, so this is a volume charger, and this one is the high pressure for the intake. These turbos, just so you have an idea what they're close to in size, this would be a little bit larger than what you would see on a semi-truck, the bottom turbo. The top turbo is actually off of a V16 Cummins that is, the actual engine is about the size of this tractor. So it's quite large, had 3 of these turbos on it, and is about 4,000 horsepower. So this machine is actually moving enough air through this motor to actually burn 6 gallons of fuel in 300 feet. So the line that actually feeds the Hillborn pump is actually 1.5 inches, so it's quite a gas hog. The cog belts that you see running here, this first cog belt is actually driving the oil pump, and this oil pump is actually 3 stages. The first 2 stages are engine oil. This back smaller stage is actually turbo oil only. The reason you want to separate the oils is so that if you have engine failure, it doesn't wipe out 14,000 in turbos, or vice versa. If you have turbo failure, you don't wreck the motor by putting debris through it. And on the other side, there's a second cog belt right down in here that goes to the other side. That actually drives the Hillborn pump that feeds it fuel. And it's a 25 gallon a minute pump that feeds it fuel. So there's no suspension on these machines, but the key is to actually get as much weight transfer to the rear tires. So an optimum pull would be actually getting the front end to come like 10 to 12 inches off the ground, not too high and not too low. So you want to just carry the front wheels to keep maximum traction on the back tires. And when you do that, when you're only raising the nose 10 to 12 inches, when you come down the track, it's keeping the drawbar at the correct height to lift up on the sled. If you do a big wheel stand, it actually lowers the drawbar and it allows the sled to dig in harder on you. So a perfect world would be 10 to 12 inches of nose coming up and then just going down the track. The fuel cell on this tractor is actually 20 gallons. Not that we actually burn that much in one pass. We usually burn 6 gallons of fuel in the 300-foot pass. But the reason why the cell is as large as it is, there's actually a hood over top of the suction point on the bottom, and then there's a big baffle going like this. The fuel pump pulls fuel out of the fuel cell so fast that it actually will suck a vortex. So the more volume of fuel that you have, the less chance that you have of it sucking a vortex. And what damage it does, if it sucks a vortex, it's actually sucking air into the fuel, and it actually can destroy your motor. You're going to get a sensation of lean, and when you're making 80 to 90 pounds of boost, a lean condition will be horrible.
It's just Gatorade.
All right, so in the driver's compartment, obviously we have a five-point harness that comes up to hold us in the tractor. Of course, have to wear a neck collar and all that jazz in the event of a wild ride. Up on the dash, simple things that we have here. Obviously, you got a throttle, steers like a normal tractor with individual brakes when the tractor's in a wheel stand. We actually have up on the dash on my particular tractor, I've actually got a tach up here on the dash, and you'll see the light that says RPM, turbo, and engine. The shift light is just very simply an RPM reference, because I can't possibly focus on the tach when the tires are spinning and carrying on. It's very hard for you to focus on anything. So what happens is if that yellow light comes on, it's telling me that I'm turning plenty of RPMs. And obviously the turbo and engine, the red lights, those are just if those lose oil pressure. If either one of those lights come on, it's a shut it down. The LCD screen that's up here on the dash, that's the computer system of the tractor. I'll flick the key on, you can actually see it. That LCD screen is actually the computer that actually records the run, and it collects all the data. So if this machine sputters, flutters, does anything that it shouldn't, we can actually go back through and replay the video the run, and I can see exactly what went out, if it was a particular cylinder or whatever. This particular tractor has also got a backup camera on it, so when you're backing up to the sled, you can actually see how close you're getting to the sled and things like that. But still got the basic characteristics of a normal tractor, and then some above and beyond.